Good morning, all of you. Today we'll discuss on Unit 5, in which we'll discuss the sequencing problem, which is also referred as sequencing model. So these are the topic that we have to discuss under sequencing model. First, we will see the introduction of sequencing problem. Then we will see the classification of sequencing problem or sequencing model. Then there are two methods of sequencing problem. First is analytical method and graphical method. So first we'll discuss about the analytical method and then about the graphical method. So after that we'll practice some numericals on analytical method as well as on graphical method. Now, what sequencing problem or why sequencing model is required. Now we know that in industry there are four important resources, which is manpower, machines, materials, and the capital requirement for all these resources. Now, objective of any industry is to optimize all these resources as well as to utilize all these resources for increase in production as well as quality of the product. So in this direction, so we have this sequencing problem or sequencing model topic for us. So under sequencing, first we'll discuss about the analytical method. So in analytical method, again we have to discuss about the three types of problem. First is how to sequence n jobs or n tasks or n activities on two machine. Then we have to discuss about sequencing n job, that is more than one job, on more than two machine. That is, we have to discuss about sequencing of n job on three machine. And after that we will discuss about the sequencing of more than one job, that is n job, and more than two machine, that is more than two machines or more than three machines. So we have sequencing of n job on two machines. So first we'll discuss how to sequence the n job or n activities or n operation on two machines. Again, in order to find the optimum sequence as well as the optimum time required for particular operation, so we have to follow certain steps. So first we'll see the steps for type 1 problem, then again type 2 problem and type 3 problem that are similar to type 1 problem. We have to convert this type 2 and 3 problem in type 1 problem, or always we have to convert the n job or 3 machine or n job or m machine problem into n job and 2 machine problem. So let us discuss about the various steps of sequencing of n job on 2 machine first. So Johnson has suggested certain procedure for sequencing of n job on 2 machine. So let us discuss about these steps and then we'll refer all these steps for solving the numericals. So first step is, since we have two machines with us and the processing time of two machines are given to us, so let us consider the processing time for machine 1 or for machine M1, that is given in column 1, and processing time of machine 2 is given in table, that is in column 2. So accordingly we have to observe the column A for machine M1 and column B for machine M2 to decide which is the smallest time out of these two machine time. So that's why first we will follow the steps, then with respect to these steps we will find the optimum sequence, and with respect to that again we will find the optimum time as well as the idle time for respective machines as well as the persons working on that machine. So what is the first step? First step is examine the column for processing time on machine M1 and machine M2 and determine the smallest or lowest value, that is minimum of, that is A or B. Then if, that is step 2, again in that we have 4 to 5 sub steps. So in step 2, sub step 1, so if the smallest or lowest value lies in column A, then schedule this job first on machine M1. Then step 2, again in that sub step 2, that is if the smallest or lowest value lies in column B, then schedule this job last on machine M1 due to given order AB. If there is tie, one in each column, then schedule the one first column first on machine M1 and one in second column last on machine M1. Now we'll proceed step 2, that is step 2 is continued here. So sub step 4 in step 2, if both equal values, that is smallest values, are in the first column A, then choose the one with smallest entry in column B first. And last step in step 2, that is if both the values, smallest values, are in second column B, then choose the one with smallest entry in column A first. So these are the sub steps of step 2. Now what is the step 3? Cross off the job assigned and repeat step 1 and 2 till all the job or tasks are scheduled. The resulting sequence will minimize the total elapsed time, or that is total processing time, that is T. And the last step is determine the idle time for machine M1 and M2 and also calculate the total processing time or total elapsed time. So these are the 4 important steps for sequencing of n job on 2 machine. Now in order to understand all these steps, let us consider one numerical. So this is the statement of the numerical. So there are 5 jobs or 5 tasks, each of which must go through 2 machines A and B in the order AB. Processing times are given in table below. Determine a sequence for jobs or tasks that will minimize the elapsed time and also calculate the total idle time. So this problem was asked 3 times in previous exam for 8 marks in May 2016, December 2011 and December 2018. So let us proceed for solution of this problem. Now this is the same statement and the table is given to us. So in row 1 jobs are given, that is there are 5 jobs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the processing time for machine M1, that is M1, or for machine A in minute is given. So for machine A, processing time for job 1 is 5, for 2 is 1, for job 3 it is 9 minutes, for job 4 it is 3 minutes, for job 5 it is 10 minutes. Similarly, processing time for machine B, that is for job 1 it is 2 minutes, for job 2 it is 6 minutes, for job 3 it is 7 minutes, for job 4 it is 8 minutes, and for job 5 it is 4 minutes. Now we have to follow the previous step 1, 2, 3, 4 in order to find the optimum time, and then we have to find the total processing time as well as idle time. Now same table is written in this way. In the first column we have job 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the second column, so this is the processing time for machine M1 or machine A. So it is 5, 1, 9, 3, 10. Again the time is in minute. And for machine M2 or for machine B, it is 2, 6, 7, 8, 4. So what are the steps? So first step is we have to observe the processing time for machine 1 and for machine 2, or we have to observe this column A and column B, and we have to select the smallest value out of these values in column 1 as well as in column 2. So once we select the smallest value, then we have to assign that job either first on machine 1 or last on machine 2, correct? So that's why, so let us observe the first column. So in first column processing times are 5, 1, 9, 3, 10. In the second column, processing time is 2, 6, 7, 8, 4. So which is minimum in these two column? So 1 is minimum. So in first column 1 is minimum. In second column, that is 2 is minimum. So out of this 1 and 2, so 1 is the smallest. So that's why we will select this job 2 first, that is to be processed on 1, since here minimum value is 1, and again it is in column 1, so that's why we have to assign this job 2 first on machine 1, correct? So that will write here. So these are the same steps, and that job is assigned, this is machine 1, and that job is assigned, job 2 is assigned first on machine 1. Now again, as soon as we select this job, then we have to cross off this job, means we have to cross out this row 2 completely. After that, again observe the column 1 and 2 and see the next smallest value. So next smallest value is 2 and it is in the column 2. So that's why we'll assign this job 1 last on machine 1 and we'll score off row 1. Again we have to proceed for the next smallest time. So next smallest time is 3. Again it is in column 1 and that is with respect to job 4. So that's why we'll assign this job 4 first on machine 1 and we'll score off this complete row. Then next smallest value, it is 4. Again it is in column 2. So that's why we'll assign job 5 last on machine 1 and again we'll score off the last row. Now we have only one, our next smallest processing time is what? That is with respect to job 3 and only one job we have. So let us see this. So since we have assigned 1 and accordingly it is written here. Now next smallest time is 2 and it is in the second column, that's why we'll assign job 1 here. So we'll assign, so 2 is the smallest, that's why it is assigned last on machine 1. The next smallest is 3, this, and it is in the first column, that's why we have to assign that job, that is job first on machine 4. Then after 3, next smallest value is this 4, it is in column 2, that's why we have to assign this job 5 last on machine 1. So we have to assign the job here, and as soon as we assign that job, accordingly we have to score up all the rows. Now we have assigned job 2, job 4, job 1 and job 5. Only one job is remaining, that is job 3, and one cell is remaining. So that's why we'll assign job 3 here. So this is what the sequence we have, that is as per our procedure. So sequence is 2, 4, 3, 5 and 1. So when we follow all these steps, we write the sequence here, and that is the optimum sequence, and accordingly we score off the respective rows as soon as we assign the respective job on machine 1. So after assigning all the job, so this is the scored of all the rows, and we have optimum sequence, that is 2, 4, 3, 5, 1. Now once we find the optimum sequence, then we have to find idle time for machine 1 as well as for machine 2, again total processing time and the total idle time. So in order to find the idle time for machine 1, for machine B, or for machine 1, or for machine A and for machine B, and total processing time, so let us prepare one table. So in that table we start for machine 1 with respect to the new sequence. Again we will take into account the time of processing time of respective job, and first we will finish the all the processing of job on machine 1, and similarly we will finish the processing of all the job on machine 2, and we will continue this cycle as per our requirements of the production. So in order to find the total idle time, we have to prepare such table. So this is the column for machine 1. Again in that we have to write two column, that is time in and time out for job on machine 1. Similarly we have to prepare next column for machine B. Again in that two sub column, that is time in and time out for machine B, and again next column for finding idle time separately for machine A and for machine B. Now let us start with the optimum sequence. So optimum sequence is, this is the given sequence as per statement, and this is the optimum sequence that we have defined. So here 2 4 3 so this is the sequence 2 4 3 5 1 that we have determined just now, and we'll take that sequence and we'll start with machine 1. So let us consider job 2. So for this job 2, processing time on machine 1 is 1 minute. So time in for that job 2 is 0, so it will take 1 minute. So 0 plus 1, so it is 1. So time out for job 2 is 1. So job 4, for job 4, what is the processing time on machine 3? It is 3 minutes, and we'll take that job 4 after processing of job 2. So that's why time in is 1. So this one we have to take here, and we have to add processing time of job 4 in 1. So 1 plus 3. So this 1 plus 3 is 4. So this 3 is the processing time of job 4. Then for job 3, processing time is 9 minutes. So this is the job 3, and for that processing time is 9 minutes. So as soon as we finish the job 4, then we will take job 3. So that's why time in for job 3 is 4, and 4 plus this 9, so that is 13. So time out for job 3 is 13 minutes. Then for job 5, processing time is 10 minutes, correct? And we'll take that job after finishing the job 3. So that's why time in for job 5 is 13, and 13 plus this 10, that is 23. So here we have 23. So time out for job 4 is 23 minutes. Then last job is job 1, and for job 1 processing time is 5 minutes. So time in is, this time we will take here, so 23 is the time in, and for job 1 processing time is 5 minutes. So 23 plus 5, so that is 28. So 28 is the time out for job 1 on machine A. So once we finish the time in and time out for machine 1, then we have to process, or we have to find similar time in and time out for machine B. So again for job 2, processing time on machine B is 6 minutes, and since this take 1 minute to process on machine 1, so that's why we'll take this job 2 on machine B after 1 minute. So that's why time in for job 2 on machine B is 1 minute, and it will take 6 minutes. So that's why 6 plus 1, it is 7. So time out for job 2 is 7 minutes. Then processing time for job 4 on machine B, it is 8 minutes, and we can take that job on machine B after 7 minutes. So this time out of job 2 is time in for job 4 on machine B. Again for job 4 it will take 8 minutes. So 7 plus 8, it is 15. So time out is 15 for job 4. The next job is 3. For job 3, processing time on machine B is 7 minutes. So we'll take that job on machine B after 15 minutes. So time in is 15 minutes. So 15 plus this 7, that is the processing time of job 3 on machine B. So 15 plus 7, it is 22. So time out for job 3 is 22 minutes. Then for job 5, processing time on machine B is 4 minutes, correct? Now since we need 23 minutes for processing of that job 5 on machine 1. So that's why time in for job 5 on machine B is 23 minutes. So that's why here it is star mark. That is very important. So we can start, since the time out for job 3 is 22 minutes. So we cannot talk 22 directly here. So that's why we have to take here 23. So that's why here we have star mark. So time in for job 5 is 23 minutes, and for that it takes 4 minutes. That job 5 takes 4 minutes on machine B. So that's why we have to add 23 plus 4, it is 27. And last job is 1. For this job processing time on machine B is 2 minutes. And since job 1 takes 28 minutes to process that job on machine 1, so that's why here we cannot take 27 as time in, but we have to take 28 as time in for job 1 on machine B. So that's why here we have star mark. So this time in for job 4, 5 and 1 is very important, keep in mind. So that's why here we have star mark. So that, and time in is 28, and job 1 it takes 2 minutes on machine B, so that's 28 plus 2, it is 30. So the total cycle time or processing time is 30 minutes, considering all the job on machine 1 and machine 2, or machine A and machine B. So total processing time is 30 minutes. Again we have to find idle time for machine A and idle time for machine B. Now see here, machine A is continuously working from 0 to 28 minutes, correct? And total processing time is 30 minutes. So that's why machine A is idle only for 2 minutes. Whereas machine B, so initially it is idle for 1 minute, since we start the processing of job 2 first on machine 1. So that's why this is 1 minute initial idle time, and after that it works continuously. But here again the timeout is 22, but we can take that job after 23 minutes. So that's why, what is the difference of 23 and 22? It is 1. So that's why here it is 1 minute idle time. Similarly here for job 1 time in is 28, but time out for job 5 is 27. So 28 minus 27, again here we have 1 minute idle time. So just add this idle time. So addition of all these 0 plus 2, it is 2, and here 1 plus 1 plus 1, it is 3. So idle time for machine A is 2 minutes, and idle time for machine B is 3 minutes, and total idle time is 5 minutes, and total processing time is 30 minutes. So that's this is the same here. The total processing time is 30 minutes. Again total idle time is 5 minutes, that is 2 minutes for machine A and 3 minutes for machine B. Now in this way we have to practice similar numericals for processing of n job on 2 machine. Now how to solve the numericals on processing of n job on 3 machine or n job on m machine, such type of problems we will practice in the next lecture. So today we will stop here. Thank you.